Hello, all you crypto aficionados, and we have actually got some big news for you. Terra Luna has risen by something like 80% within the last day. That's right, it's risen by like 80% within the last day. If you actually look at Terra price, yes, there's a conversion, but the big news is up 73.27%. And you might be wondering, why is that? Is people just pumping it up? Yes, there's development on Terra Luna, and yes, it could be not quite as big as it was back then before Do Kwon destroyed it, but it could get back to part of that position. But right now, why it's actually at this particular position is I've heard, and from several sources, that FTX is actually pumping it. And you might be like, Sam Bankman-Fried, isn't he going to jail? It's not Sam Bankman-Fried. It seems to be John Ray III. Remember, Terra Luna or FTX actually owes a lot of restitution fees to creditors and other people. So they need to come up with money to pay those fees. How are they going to do it? Well, they have a lot of funds. They can pump and dump. And remember, FTX was the one that caused Terra Luna to die in the first place. So they probably still have ways to actually pump and dump the coin. I would not trust the 72% Terra Luna pump. I'm not saying that Luna's a bad project. I'm just saying it's being hyper pumped right now. Maybe by FTX. Maybe there's still a little bit of Sam Bankman-Fried in there, but it's probably like the new FTX management. And I do believe they are going to dump sooner or later to pay off the restitution. Remember, they owe billions of dollars to people. So, if they can get that Terra Luna price up and then dump, they can actually pay off both the SEC and other people. And they might be doing it via shady terms. Someone on who's developing for Terra Luna actually told me this, and other people have whispered it into my ear too. Now, I obviously can't confirm 100% because, I don't really do this pump and dump stuff myself, but I think it is highly possible, knowing the relationship that Terra Luna had with FTX prior, how FTX was the one that actually brought down Terra Luna in the first place, and how they actually owe tons of money to various people, and that they actually might want to pump and dump it for this reason. So I would be very, very careful with Terra Luna's rise right now. Be very careful in buying it. I'm not saying it can't pump more, because who knows how much they can pump it. 100%, 200%, 300%, 500%. It's possible. But I'm just saying, if it does, it's probably going to tumble back down very, very quickly, and you don't want to get caught in the avalanche. On the other note, I've actually heard that they're actually liquidating RNDR, and that's why RNDR is down. But I have a harder time believing that, and that's mainly because RNDR is actually up today. And it's actually, if you look at the 7 days, it's basically been holding pretty steady, and some people are saying that the reason it's been holding steady and not going up is because Terra Luna is because FTX is selling it down. I think that's a harder pill to swallow for me. It might be correct, I don't really know. It might actually be legitimate, but I have some doubts on that. I'm much more likely to believe that FTX is actually being pumped up by Terra Luna because of their previous relationship, and also because FTX desperately needs money to pay off creditors right now, rather than them liquidating Terra Luna. Even though that is believable, I don't really see price dropping all that much. And if they can make FTX pump by 70%, if they were really liquidating it, I think it would go down by way more than 0%, like it's going down right now. So this is what we're at right now. I don't really quite believe the RNDR stuff, but I am more likely to believe the FTX stuff. But keep both of those in the back of your head if you are trading these coins. If you're trading RNDR, once they finish liquidating, it might actually go up just like FTX. Once they stop pumping, it's going to crash. So that's the news with FTX pumping and dumping Terra Luna. So next we have Poloniex. It's one of the Justin Sun exchanges, obviously. And it's actually suffered a $100 million exploit and offered 5% bounty. So Poloniex is a little bit screwed, and I'm not really sure, really not sure at all if the 5% is going to entice the developers. Remember, the hackers generally want more than 5% these days, but 5% of $100 million is still $5 million. If I can get $5 million without the feds coming after me, I'd take it if I were the hackers, but they might be more greedy, and it might be a big team, so each person might not actually get that much money. It's still hundreds of thousands, but still. So basically, a crypto wallet belonging to digital asset exchange Poloniex has experienced suspicious outflows, as seen on the Blockchain Explorer Etherscan. Now, here's the thing. Like, people are going to say this is an inside job, and it definitely could be. But offering only a 5% bounty signals it's not really an inside job. Remember the last one, we were sure that was an inside job. They offered a 40% bounty. However, it could just be a way for someone to get $5 million. And, inside jobs are very, very rampant. So I definitely wouldn't toss out the possibility. So on November 10th, millions of dollars of crypto assets were transferred from an account labeled Poloniex to other accounts. And initial estimates of the losses were $60 million. But after a while, after all the chickens came home to roost, it was $100 million taken from the attackers. So, obviously, on the 10th, which is actually yesterday for a lot of places, but today for the United States, Poloniex is suspected to have been hacked. This is from ScopeScan. From their Twitter, Poloniex address OXA910 transferred all tokens to a new address OXOA59 in 40 minutes with a total value of about $60 million. But of course, they got $40 million after that. And of course, Poloniex customer support. Our wallet has been disabled for maintenance. We will update this thread once the wallet has been re-enabled. And it's going to take them a while to actually fix this because they obviously don't want more funds drained. Poloniex is not a big exchange, obviously. So $100 million is definitely a big blow to them. And yes, they are still down for maintenance, and I would expect them to be down for maintenance for several more hours. So definitely, but definitely not a good situation for Poloniex. I know some of you are going to be suspecting Justin Sun, but in this case, I don't actually think Justin Sun would actually hack his own exchange. And he already has hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think this is just too risky for him to obviously do something like this. Could it be an insider from a lower level? Sure, it could be. And $5 million is still a lot of money. So hopefully they can get this situation resolved. And of course, just a couple of hours ago, this was actually reported. And it's just definitely not a good situation for Poloniex. And hopefully the exchange can bounce back from this. I know Justin Sun himself has pretty deep reserves, so he can cover $5 million. But if the hacker refuses to return $100 million worth of funds, we could have some fireworks and we could have some trouble. In Chinese news, China has actually made stealing NFTs criminal. So they are taking a step forward. They're basically saying that theft of digital collections violates the protection law and interests of the crime of illegally obtaining computer information systems data. So they are going to be liable for a criminal theft sentence. So in China, if you try to steal NFTs, and by the way, NFTs are actually legal in China. Unlike crypto, you can actually trade them and make them in China. Kind of new information for me, but if you steal them, it's criminal theft. So they are really tightening the bolts on digital assets. Not in a bad way, however. This is actually a good thing because if you want NFTs, you obviously don't want people stealing them. And this would actually give NFT thieves some pause because you definitely don't want to end up in a Chinese prison. And if you're in China and you're in the business of stealing NFTs, you could actually be in a lot of trouble. Before this, there wasn't any solid laws around NFT stealing, but now you could end up in a Chinese prison. And trust me when I say Chinese prisons are not very lovely places, much less lovely than their counterparts, the American prisons. So you probably want to think twice before stealing NFTs in China. It also outlines 3 views on the type of crime that theft of digital collections falls under, with the first 2 classifying it as either data or digital property. However, the statement stresses that the third view, which sees digital collections as both data and virtual property, would fall under the umbrella of co-offending. So the thing is, these are serious violations in China. They will sentence you to long terms in jail because, if you do something the government doesn't like, they can send you to an infinite years in jail. There is really very little justice system there because the party definitely controls everything. So you might want to look out. So since property is the object of property crime, digital collections can obviously become the object of property crime. If the digital collection is stolen by intrusion into the system or other technical means, the act also damages property law. NFTs were specifically mentioned, establishing that digital collections are derived from the concept of NFTs abroad and use blockchain technology to map specific assets. So they're obviously equating NFTs to those assets. And if you steal them, it's just like stealing the assets themselves. So the crime is getting very, very serious in China. I don't even think the US has such rules yet. So that's one area where China has actually bolted in front of the US, even though they still do not allow digital assets trading themselves. Not in the mainland anyways, only in Hong Kong. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.